I'd like to issue a formal apology to the streamer Wonder Stinker for reading the time wrong. You are formally forgiven. With great compassion do I say that. With great sincerity in my heart do I say that. Do I say that you are forgiven. If you were to make such a mistake again, I too would forgive you then. But let us not think of such a thing. It will happen again. I know Sams wouldn't do it. I know Sams wouldn't do such treachery on me. Especially not Jules. This is why I am prepared to forgive Tomate once more. Anyways. We're back. I forgot everything that happened. Okay, so brief rundown. I got trolled hard last time because I thought that these secret servants had master keys, but no, there's only 5. So now, even though I don't like thinking, like it's gonna happen eventually. We're gonna have to face the truth that maybe perhaps one of the family members is not a very good person. I always thought it was Kinso, but maybe it's Rosa. But also, I'm also of the thought that this Rosa isn't the real Rosa. That it could be another one of the creatures disguised as Rosa, as the other creature disguised as Canon. Either way, real Rosa or not Rosa, this Rosa took Jessica's key at some point in time. And that is what she used to lock the door when she got out of Jessica's room. Then when the whole group went back into the room, she put Jessica's key in the desk. She was the one that found Jessica's key, so it makes sense that she was the one that had it. Now, the servant room, she used the servant keys, like not the master key, but the servant keys in the little box in the servant room to lock the door whenever she got out. And then when the whole group came in, she put the key back in the box when no one was looking. And then Beatrice said that the keys were always in the box there, but like she said it in a way that was like, at this moment in time, the keys are all in the box. Saying she didn't clarify that they were always in the box, that nobody took them. So like the big questions that Battler's gonna have to ask is, I don't know how he's going to ask it in Jessica's case, but for the servant room, all he's gotta ask is, say it in red. The servant keys were never taken out in the past like 2 days or whatever. They were never taken out before Canon's body disappeared. I forgot what happened in the servant room, but I think it was Canon's body disappearing. Yeah, all he's gotta ask is, was that key in there when you get it? He asks that, and yeah, bada boom bada beam, she can't say nothing. Anyways. Everyone knows I'm the most forgiving Tomatoli. That's true. That is true. What's this fellow on about? Okay. Whatever. I don't even. Whatever. I needed it. I needed to refresh my memory. We're gonna play the game now. Yippee. The door to the parlor was not only locked, but blocked with a barricade made of sofas and the like. I'm on a short leash, the stream behind the cursor? What does that mean? Because of that, Aunt Rosa seemed to suspect that any suspicious person approaching would break in through the window. Sitting on a one-person sofa, her back onto the door, she continued to hold onto her gun. I didn't know what was what anymore, and even though my body and mind were worn out, I played with Maria as she wanted. Maria had said it. Beatrice was testing us to see if we could solve the epitaph of the gold, so we had to try and figure out this riddle. In the beginning I was a little interested and tried to solve it, but I didn't even have a clue where to start in this weird text. I didn't doubt that there was some riddle hidden there, but I seriously doubted I'd be able to suddenly leap to an answer. In the middle part of the epitaph, there were the lines going from the first to the 10th twilight, telling us to journey to the Golden Land. On the first twilight, offered the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. It was obvious that this hinted at the first 6 murders that had already occurred in the chapel, and Jessica and Kanunkun's murders. If this was being followed, we still had to be prepared for 5 more people to be killed. On the 4th twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the 5th twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-ba-chan's corpses were still haven't been found. However, if this follows the pattern that they're the sacrifices to the 4th and 5th twilights, they'll surely be found in a painful state with their head and chest gouged. So can we expect that 3 more of us will be gouged in the stomach, knee, and leg and killed? Who will it be? I looked around the room, noticing that there were 3 people here, but how should I put it? My emotions seemed paralyzed. Strangely, I didn't feel frightened. As I leaned against the sofa with the top part of my body gazing up at the ceiling, Maria noticed. Apparently she felt I was slacking off in my riddle solving. She got mad at me for not taking this seriously enough. Ooh, if Maria is like the thing that pushes Battler to keep fighting and figure it out, I'm gonna be so happy. Hey, Maria.
Huh?
What was that again? That Beatrice said she'd do if we solved this? I'm sure the witch wrote in her letter that she'd give up on collecting interest or something abstract like that. I optimistically took that to mean she'd give up killing the whole family. But was it really written with that meaning? For some reason I couldn't convince myself that solving the riddle would really save me. I feel like maybe, even if we do solve it, we'll just be doing what the culprit wants and it'll be all a wasted effort.
No, that's not true. If you solve the epitaph, the ceremony will end. So after that, no more people will die.
Really? Isn't that rule just something she made up? Whoever solves this riddle will probably learn the location of Grandfather's hidden gold. Then she'll definitely go after it and...
She won't go after it.
How can you be so sure?
The gold has been Beatrice's from the very beginning. She wouldn't go after something like that. Like, that's hers.
Then why is Beatrice giving us all these big hints? Not just that, why does she even set up the game-like thing?
Risk is essential for magic.
Risk? I don't know what you mean.
For example, in a marathon, do you think a medal anyone can get by running the whole thing is worth the same as the medal given only to the person who gets first?
No, I don't. So what does that mean? In the end, she's just playing with us? Purposefully giving us a chance?
Wrong! That's how magic works. No matter how great a work of magic is, it'll always have risk and weak points. No, it must have them.
I don't get the stuff you call magic. But if I think about it as a gamble, I can understand it a little. If you aren't prepared to lose big, then you can't win big. And the slimmer the chances of winning, the bigger the payoff.
That's right. And Bethel really did explain the risk of the ceremony to everyone. So if this riddle is solved, the ceremony will be suspended. After all, if she breaks her promises, that wouldn't be any risks.
If we solve this, will she really keep her promise?
Why are flowers beautiful, even though they wither? Why is it that an artificial flower isn't beautiful no matter how elaborate it is, even when you can't tell the difference by looking? Humans can bring about miracles by gambling on their deaths. If an undying human existed, they would have no way of bringing about a miracle. That goes for us, life, the witch, and the ceremony too. If we don't bear a risk, we can't succeed in anything.
What do we do if we solve the riddle? Should we raise a hand and cry, "I got it," tell the witch our answer and see what she says?
I don't know about that. But if we solve it, the ceremony will surely end automatically.
You sure know a lot, Maria. Did you learn all of that from Beatrice? It is nice to know that it all will end if we solve the riddle. Thank you, Umineko. I will gamble! Let's go! So if you don't bear a risk, nothing can be gained, is that it? That definitely is the way of the world. But it's sort of in conflict with the chessboard thinking I like so much. At least when making moves in chess, players grope for the best move, always trying to avoid risk and hoping for an advantageous turn of events. They don't trust to chance like in gambling. That's right, there's no room for gambling in an intellectual game. And yet this person called Beatriz has created such an outrageous crime. Or maybe a ceremony, I don't like... Don't tick me off. Don't make me mad right now. Don't make me mad. I'm not in the mood. I took a gamble by saying that the secret servants that we have no reason to believe exist, that itself was a gamble. Me believing in the secret servants is a gamble, and then I took a gamble thinking that since they're servants, they have master keys. And what happened? What happened to me for gambling? I lost. So I don't think so. I think there's a bunch of hogwash. While purposefully imposing conditions for her own loss and announcing them to us. Not even 10 minutes in already. I'm not over it. Like, I have a very good defense now. Very good, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm very sure of it. But the hurt will never go away. In chess, you always play your best move. So by putting yourself in your opponent's position, you can predict their next move. However, we can't be sure that Beatriz's moves are always the best moves possible. I thought she was probably making us focus on the epitaph to fool us in some way of speaking in riddles, but according to Maria, that alone was impossible. She said this was a genuine risk that the witch had taken, and therefore proof that this was a formal ceremony for magic. I can't understand this witch called Beatriz. If she's committing this chain of murders with some goal in mind, why does she go to all the trouble exposing the conditions for her defeat? No matter how I spin the chessboard around and think from my opponent's perspective, I can't understand why she'd give up if this riddle was solved. I do. I haven't forgotten. I still believe the epitaph is not Beatriz's, it's Kinso's. And if it doesn't get solved, Kinso's the one who wins, not Beatriz. So Beatriz gets something, like, it doesn't make sense, total sense. Beatriz gets to win if the riddle is solved. If the riddle is solved, she gets to win because Kinso won't trap her. But she still plays these games and speaks in riddles and goes hee hee ha ha at Butler because, like Maria just said, magic needs risk. If she just outright said, hey, I really need you to solve this riddle so that I don't get damned in hell for 10 billion years, so I'm just gonna give you the answer to where the goal is. Nah, there's no risk there, right? So she's gotta take the risk. She's gotta take the gamble of trolling and rage baiting Butler so he locks in so that he solves it out of his own volition while still taking on the risk that maybe he won't lock in like he isn't right now. Yeah, she does go like that. She does. Isn't it almost as though Beatriz doesn't care whether she wins or loses? Of course chessboard reasoning won't work against an opponent like that. I don't understand. What is Beatriz after that's making her carry out this crime? If she just wanted to massacre us all, she could have done it quietly without this whole crazy setup. There was no need for that kind-hearted advance notice, all this self-aware closed room stuff, or any of the rest. It's all overacting. I've got no clue what it means. Will I be unable to understand everything, as long as I keep thinking of Beatriz as a greedy human culprit? If I don't accept her as a witch, will my chessboard thinking be stuck before I even lined up the pieces? If she really is a witch and everything Maria said is true, then there's only one thing for us to do. The theory building in Discord and searching for the culprit has all been pointless. Don't be saying that to me! We should have all gathered in the dining hall, combining our knowledge to solve the riddle. By combining the knowledge of that many people, we might have been able to grasp at least a thread of the answer. The greedy humans, each desiring to gain something over their opponents, were getting offered up as sacrifices one by one without gathering their knowledge together. In the end, did the humans get what they deserved? They thought they were using their brains, but they were actually thinking only for their greedy selves. In the end, chessboard theory is a thinking technique where you project yourself on your opponent. So greedy people see their greedy selves inside their opponents. I looked lazily at Aunt Rosa. She was probably tired from being under all this tension the whole time. She couldn't sleep, but she kept staring vaguely at some point off in space. Aunt Rosa had announced that we couldn't trust anyone who hadn't been killed. Aunt Rosa, chessboard thinking, saw herself inside her opponent. In other words, maybe Aunt Rosa was an isolated woman, unable to trust anyone and unable to let her guard down. Long ago, I think I heard a bit about it from my dad. Aunt Rosa was originally a very obedient child, but her age was too far separated from the other siblings. And they often made conflicting demands of her during their confrontations. Thanks to this, she undergone a lot of psychologically harsh experiences in her youth. Often when she copied one of her siblings, another sibling would give her a hard time. True, Aunt Rosa said many things today that could be taken as abusive, but that means those words were once showered upon her, which is why they were engraved in her vocabulary. The many abusive words that she'd spoken were also words that she'd been showered with in the past. 1 second. Where is it? Doesn't matter. We're back. Now that I think about it, I've had the feeling that her style of speech sometimes has traces of Uncle Kraus or Aunt Eva in it. I'd understood it as them being similar because they were siblings, but maybe it wasn't just that. For the first time, I truly sympathized with Aunt Rosa, whom I've always assumed was just quiet and gentle. But then what about Maria? Maria's been making a certain claim for a while now. If we can solve the riddle with which displayed to us, the ceremony will be halted and will definitely be saved. And I think she also said that Beatriz will never break a promise. But this is Maria we're talking about. She herself never breaks promises, and she has the most innocent heart. So she believes Beatriz also won't break her promises. She's able to believe that. But isn't that just an image of Beatriz in Maria's mind? There's no proof that the real Beatriz always keeps her promises, right? Yes! She's the worst character ever. I keep my promises. If you solve the riddle of the epitaph, you should be able to reach the Golden Land. When you do, the ceremony will end. No more people will die. So you're saying a complete monster like you follows the rules? I won't deny that I am brutal and unjust and a monster. However, I am a witch. I use magic. In order to use magic, there are some rules that must be followed. Because I am a witch, I cannot neglect those. You should believe at least that much. So even after all the crazy stuff you've done, you're still telling me to believe at least in the rules? I do play tricks. Of course I also deceive people. I'm no different from humans in that regard. But not once have I disregarded a promise I've spoken. What about humans? Do you always keep your promises? Since we have catchphrases like keep your promises, it's hard to imagine that we always follow them properly. From my perspective, humans are truly selfish monsters. There's nothing as dubious as a human's promise. Even I sometimes make contracts with humans, but you wouldn't imagine how strict an agreement must be made just to grant a single foolish wish. If there's even a small loophole, they'll immediately say something like, increase the number of witches to 100, or go turn yourself into a bean. That's the thing Dad always says. He says there's nothing as scary as contracts. According to him, it's only natural that people who sign without reading them thoroughly will get chewed to the bone. He's made a killing through vice. Imagine it. When people are born, they know nothing of fraud. They get it from somewhere. And so they learn it. Yes, the crimes of the human world, where people must press up against each other. Let me see. I've heard that from a witch somewhere. Oh well. Let me read that again. Okay. I don't know what you mean. I'm not as heartless as you think you seem. Liar! You killed so many people, and you did it in such horrible ways too. How could you be so heartless? You say you keep your promises? Don't say stuff like that. I won't accept you. Ever. I believe my only way to resist you is never giving up on that. I see. So you're saying this eternal torture will be the same for me? Perhaps. 1,000 years is a long time. Maybe a witch's true strength is decided not by their magical power, but by the strength of their endurance. Yes, I can accept how terrifying Lady Byrne is. What did it say about Verncastel? That she was probability. Which means that it makes sense she would have a lot of endurance because you just gotta keep... I don't know. That one... I don't know. Because I feel like Beatrice would have more endurance because she is infinity. You would have to keep trying and trying. With probability, you like always get it right in the first time. But no, we shouldn't think of probability as always being right. Probability is just knowing percents and odds. So that would take a lot of endurance. I get it. Seagull noises, bro, became the Umineko. Whatever. Damn you, babbling on and on about this incomprehensible stuff. Let's quickly get back to this eternal torture. I'm prepared to stick around for 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years. Good. It looks like you regained some of your will to fight. It would be boring otherwise. Come now, don't you often see it in competitive games? Sometimes one player intrudes on the opponent's territory, but the opponent is so weak that it's a bit of an anticlimax, so the first player loses on purpose to extend the game until the last round. During which they get serious and shower their opponents with blows, right? That's what Ruby does in Guilty Gear Strive! Cool. I don't get what that means. It's the same as wine. If you don't let it age well, it won't sparkle. You're the same as that wine. I'll carefully make you age. I'll raise you to be the best alcohol to adorn my elegant times. So don't give up after only this much. Keep on denying me. After all, as long as you don't accept me, I'm nothing more than a fleeting illusion. She was talking to me. I won't give up. It was the first crash out of many. I can't give up. Angry emoji. No matter how many times I see it, it's awful. I truly sympathize. Shannon-san, please get the key. Even though she is dead, Madame is a lady. I cannot touch her. Of course. Shannon nodded sharply, her expression filled with a sense of duty. Born to rage bait, and yet others who are not rage baiters produce the best rage bait. Truly the saddest life. What a sad tale. George, Goda, and Shannon had broken a suitable window and were inside the chapel. Since they really hadn't wanted to break one, they searched for another way in just in case. But in the end, after proving once again that there was nowhere they could slip in through, it only became more obvious that this chapel was a mysterious closed room. And again, with this one we already figured out how the key mystery worked, and the easiest culprit is Rosa once again. Inside the chapel, time had stopped ever since the last day that left it. Even George wasn't able to approach the gruesome Halloween party again. It was only natural. It reminded him of the sadness and losing both parents at once. And Golda, thinking of the possibility that those corpses might have changed in some horrible way now that half a day had passed, didn't want to let George get near them. Shannon followed Golda's instructions and approached the party table. Normally, Shannon might have resented having another dirty job forced on her. I swear, if the body of the three other people, maybe not Kanon because his body disappeared, but of old lady and old man are there, I'm gonna have a small crash out. Because I don't remember where the chapel key was left at. So don't even. But now she could truly understand Golda's mental state. Even though Golda had prodigious skill, he's gotten dragged into trouble, losing his job and ended up left out in the streets before Natsuhi gave him new life. It was her? Golda, lock in. Golda, you gotta lock in. You gotta lock in for her. Please be one of the survivors. I need him to survive now. +2 Golda, yeah. Though it had been just a casual employment decision for Natsuhi, Golda must have thought it a turning point in his life. Those around Golda could see that he felt a special kind of loyalty to Natsuhi. Oh my god! I'm sorry! I kneel! I'm sorry, Golda's the best character in the game. So he probably didn't want to lose that feeling even after her death. Now that half a day had passed, the bodies of Natsuhi and the rest had changed completely. Small bugs sniffing out the smell of death had started to gather. It really wasn't something you'd want to look at directly.
Madam, please excuse me.
Because of her long experience as a servant, Shannon had an idea of which pocket Natsuhi kept the key in her room in. It would probably be this pocket. Her guess didn't fail her. Just by touching the outside of the pocket, she was immediately able to feel it.
It's here. The key to Madame's room.
Shannon held the key up high, showing the others that it had been found. As George and Golda watched her, their eyes opened wide. That it wasn't the expression Shannon was expecting, so it startled her. After all, Shannon hadn't noticed. George and Golda, watching from afar, noticed it first. After all, when Shannon had held the key up high, a blizzard of gold leaf had seeped up from around the table. They were countless gold butterflies. It was the first time George had seen them, so it might have looked like some kind of illusion. But Golda already knew. He knew that those gold butterflies were far from beautiful, and that they would bring about some kind of misfortune. And that gold swell trying to suck Shannon in. Shannon-san! Run! Shannon also realized the gold butterflies were trying to swallow her up. She ran unsteadily, her expression still shocked. As she did, the gold butterflies danced around her all at once. They grouped together. They tried to swallow her up. Shannon! Damn it, what is this? Are these the gold butterflies you guys were talking about?
Outside, quickly, you bastards! Damn it!
George and Golda rushed up to Shannon, driving up the cloud of butterflies. And while the butterflies were scattered, they ran towards the broken window. However, they needed a good footing to get out the window, which was surrounded by shards of broken glass. When they entered, there had been enough time to prepare for that, but now there was none. Let's go through the door. There's no time to look for a footing.
It won't open. It's not good.
Give it to me. Damn it, this ancient piece of crap.
George-sama, quickly! Damn it, don't take me lightly!
Golda took off his jacket, swinging it around and scattering the groups of butterflies. But saying he was outnumbered would be a real understatement. It was doubtful that it even bought them a short amount of time. George struggled with the broken handle. Its age showed and it didn't turn well. I can't leave it to strength. It needs the right angle or there's some kind of trick to it.
George-sama! You monsters!
At that moment, Golda saw it. He was seen by it. In other words, their eyes met on top of the party table. No, with the stained glass behind it, floating, laughing, was the figure of the witch. He saw the figure of the laughing witch in the center of the golden whirlwind, with the gold butterflies fluttering about at the ready.
Beatrice!
It should have been Goda's first time meeting with her, but he knew her at a glance. Just like the other servants had said, this was certainly the witch of the portrait herself.
It's almost time for dinner, is it not? I am the host of this mansion now, so I must give you a warm reception before your wonderful dinner. And look, we even have 3 people fit to order. My, how truly convenient.
It's open!
Goda-san, quickly! Beatrice-sama!
Huh?
Are you sure it's a good idea to just stand there? If you think this place will make a fitting cemetery for yourselves, then be my guest.
I have thoughts. A thought crossed my mind right now. But let's just enjoy the music and the story for now.
I must praise your spirit for wanting to stay in your former master's size and serve them even after death.
The golden whirlwind that wrapped around the witch burst. It was like an evil hand that literally spread its fingers and was trying to attack them. The cloud of gold butterflies attacked with a fluttering sound. Hurry! We can't stand here! George's voice brought Shannon and Goda back to their senses. Standing here now would make them like frogs getting stared down by a snake. They had to resist. They had to fight this incarnation of the new, brutal and frightening order in which Ronkenjima had been enveloped. There was no time to take out their umbrellas. The 3 of them had dashed out into the pouring rain. The 3 of them never realized because they didn't turn around, but the gold butterflies apparently couldn't handle the rain too well, and this hampered their ability to chase after the humans. Oh my gosh, this is so good! The 3 people ran from their golden pursuers and flew into the mansion.
How nice, how nice! It wouldn't be as fun any other way!
Oh my, this is a Toho song! They unlocked the door and dashed into the room. A bit of the scent from Natsuki's favorite gentle incense remained in there. However, there was no time to let that calm them down now. Where is it? You said it was in the treasure box, right?
It's just a story I heard. I never heard exactly what it was.
I think it's probably in her dresser to the or next to the bed.
Shannon's womanly sensibilities led her to conclude that, but next to the bed there was only an incense burner, a half-read novel, and glasses. However, the dresser was elegant and had many drawers, and it would be understandable if she kept some of her valuables there.
But that's me. I'm sorry.
He began to finally open each one of the drawers. He had to hurry. He couldn't actually hear footsteps, but he had the feeling that the witch was approaching. He had the feeling that her laugh was approaching. He emptied the drawers one by one and examined their contents. Every small box or makeup looked like a treasure box, and the amount of effort it would take to inspect all of them made him feel a little dizzy.
Maybe it's this box. It's locked and I can't open it.
At a glance, it looked slightly larger than a music box. When shaken, it rustled as though a very small objects were inside, but it was locked and it didn't open.
Normally, you'd hide the key somewhere nearby, though some people would always carry it on their person. I don't know.
There's no choice. Break it! But we can't do it with force, right? We might break the mirror inside. Could there be a tool to pry it open? Damn it! Goda looked all over the room, trying to see if there was some kind of tool they could use. And he noticed the door, which had been left open ever since they entered. He approached the door to close it, and saw the abominable shadows of people approaching from beyond the darkness in the hall. No, it wasn't shadows of people. Because they weren't human at all!
George-sama! Hurry!
Goda's voice trailed off. It was the shock of seeing a procession of those not of this world. He was a servant, so he knew all the servants working for the Ushiramiya family, but he didn't know about these. However, they were definitely servants, and not servants working for Ushiramiya Kinso or Ushiramiya Kraus. These new servants who worked for the new master of the mansion, the Golden Witch, Beatrice, had goat heads and bright red boiled eyes of lava. As the new master laughed loudly and trimly directed 6 of the new servants, he saw them approach, piercing the darkness as they came. Of course, she was clad in the gold butterflies that were her symbol. Goda hurriedly closed the door and locked it. However, just as he locked it, it returned to normal, just as though a spring or something had knocked it back. Boing, 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 boing. It gave the illusion that some prankster had beyond the door was unlocking it. Every time he locked it, they couldn't have reached the other side of the door yet. So who was doing it and how? It almost felt like playing with a broken toy.
It won't lock! Even if I lock it, it all unlocks! What's going on?
Did you think a lock would stop me? Did you think the door to that room could hold back the room's new master?
It was like the witch could see Goda's frantic effort through the door. Even now, the footsteps continued to approach, and when not just their footsteps, but even their breath could be heard, Goda gave up on that lock and slammed into the door, locking it using his own large body.
George-sama, quickly, quickly, quickly!
George-sama, what about this?
A letter opener? That's better. Let me have it. The fountain pen isn't working. George took it and once again dug into the crack under the lid of the treasure box. It looks like it's working.
Quickly! Quickly!
The pressure from across the door grew even stronger. Gola screamed. This wasn't a war cry during a test of strength. He was terrified. It was simply terrified that nothing but a simple wooden door was stopping him from touching something not of this world. But he was still lucky. He wasn't touching the things directly because they were on the other side of the door. So if he were to touch them directly, Goda's cry would surely turn from something brave into a pathetic, piercing scream, and therefore one that was more real. Goda couldn't believe what was happening right before his eyes. Going through the door, an arm was slipping through, right through the wood like it was water. As though doing this was the most natural thing in the world, and it rubbed the back of Goda's hand as he frantically tried to hold the door shut. It slid up his arm to his chest, and then up to his chin. By now, Goda's scream wasn't even audible anymore. He couldn't hear a sweet whispering voice from across the door. It wasn't coming from the witch, but it sounded like a young woman. However, that didn't change the fact that it came from someone not of this world.
So cute. Hey, you see it, right? Your light flashing before your eyes? Let me know when it's over, okay? Thanks. It's over already, isn't it?
That lewd arm burst. Then they heard the sound of something jumping around the room at an incredible speed. They didn't know what it was. Incredibly fast, small like steel or maybe a beetle. Why didn't they use fly? When it buried itself right in the center of Goda's chest and stopped, they realized for the first time that its true form was something like a stake with a strange design on it. Goda's large body shook, bent backwards, and fell over. As it did, the door opened softly, even though no one was pushing it, welcoming in the new master of this room. It looked almost as though the door itself had accepted her. The goat attendants came in one after another, 6 of them. Then the witch came in and the gold butterflies came in. The room was warped in a blizzard of gold leaf which fell and piled up, turning it more and more into a world of gold.
Shannon, the roulette has chosen you and George. Thank you for your day of release. Oh, thank me for your day of release. Do you have any regrets? You don't, do you? Receiving an engagement ring from the man you fell for, and then being killed before spending your first night together? That hardly counts as a regret at all, right? You wanted him to hold you, didn't you? You wanted him to teach you a woman's joy, right? No, Shannon. Your dribbling scene. Your regret is dripping down from your mouth. I can see it dribbling down from your mouth, Shannon!
It was the sound of the lid of the treasure box breaking open. When George turned it over, accessories, charms, various small objects that Natsuki had treasured when she was a girl fell out. Mixed in with that was a pouch that stood out from the rest. He picked it up and was immediately sure this was it. I found it. This is it.
So close yet so far. Die!
Damn it! All at once, the gold butterflies attacked George, who was hurriedly trying to remove the contents of the pouch. At that time, a bright red flash seemed to light up the room for an instant. The red flash seemed to cut a hole in the cloud of gold butterflies ranging around the room, drawing a circle with Shannon in the center. So the resulting scene looked truly divine, almost as though a single streak of light had cut through the clouds in this world of gold. George, who was curled in a ball trying to protect himself from the group of butterflies, didn't have a clue what was going on. Then he noticed that Shannon was standing guard in front of him, shielding him, as she glared at the witch and the rest with a serious face she'd never shown him before. I'd forgotten. You're another sample of Kinsel's outstanding furniture, and you matured much more than Kanon.
How could you do that to Kanon? I don't mean killing him. How could you erase his remains and even try to disgrace his honor? Come now, Shannon. Is that why you're so mad? If you're lonely because Kanon hasn't been around, then just let me know. I'll let you see him whenever you like.
When the witch snapped her fingers, one of the 6 goat's attendants glittered gold and changed into Kanon. It was definitely a sight to make one doubt their eyes. It was definitely Kanon's face. However, in those eyes, the glint of Kanon's integrity was nowhere to be seen. They were the hazy eyes of furniture that only obeyed the orders of the witch. George couldn't understand the scene before his eyes, and he finally understood why Golda and the rest had been unable to talk about what they'd seen in the servant room.
Are you enjoying this? Yes, I am. It's always fun to reunite a pair that have been torn apart by death. After all, I get to enjoy tearing them apart by death, reuniting them, and then tearing them apart again. So, Kanon, go and play with your sister. If she knocks you about, let her see you suffer with all the anguish she can imagine.
From the imposter Kanon's arms, a strangely shining curve extended. He planned to tear Shannon's apart with that. With a single stroke, he would attack Shannon, who still hadn't prepared her heart, and I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you for dishonoring the dead not just once, but twice. Enough babbling. Go get killed by your brother, Shannon. I'm sure you'll bear witness to a wonderful dream.
Gosh, this music. Is the music somehow... I don't know what it's called, but like it flows with the scenes. Like, it always seems like it slows down at slow moments and picks up at big moments.
like the tank game from the Nintendo Wii. The imposter cannon certainly seemed to lunge at Shannon, drawing several purple curves. But when he flew at her, it was as though some kind of invisible wall had been placed in front of her. The wall repelled the imposter, leaving a bright red ripple on its surface. No, it didn't repel him, it smashed him. It knocked him back, turning him into a golden dust into little bits, scattering him. The foolish furniture who had taken Kanon's form and even disgraced his honor after death broke into countless gold butterflies. And then those butterflies themselves broke into pieces, and those pieces were broken into pieces until they were no longer butterflies, but a golden splash that faded away. Shannon!
Yursam, please don't move from that spot. I don't want to shift the center axis.
Well, this is certainly a surprise. So, though your face makes it look as though you wouldn't hurt a fly, you can display such power? I see. So that spirit mirror is lending you strength. But you don't have the tools or the time to draw out its true power. I won't let you have either of those! The spirit mirror George gripped had let out a divine glow, displaying a strength powerful enough not to submit to wicked forces. But that glow was no match for the witch's sinister nature. This is why furniture can be frightening. That feeling, like unexpectedly stubbing your little toe on the corner of a cabinet. Yes, this is why furniture can be frightening. You furniture!
I am not furniture, and right now you seem very pitiful to me.
What? Oh, what did this furniture, who hasn't lived even 100 years, just say to a 1,000-year-old witch?
You're a very pitiful person. Of course, two people in love will have regrets when they're separated, but they'll feel none of the kind of regret you were hoping for.
You dare to speak, furniture? Have you forgotten the days when you were so desperate to be tied to George that you licked my shoes?
Even with love and crawling through the muck is what humans do. If you sneer and look down on them for that, then you're far inferior to them. Especially now, I pity you. How precious is it for a loving couple when they bring their love to fruition by sleeping together on their first night? It does have meaning, it definitely does. But it's completely different from what you're saying. It means something so sacred that one such as you has no right to speak of it so wickedly. So I no longer have any regrets. Your son and I have sworn our love to each other. As proof, I accept this ring. With that, our eternal vows are complete. No matter how you torture us with your wicked magic and your malice, you cannot disgrace eternity. Don't speak in cheap ideals like some poet. Love is lust, totally meaningless unless you're sleeping together. Men are mere flies and maggots that get drawn to you, female-scented crowd around you. Do you still not understand that at your age? You despair the very first time you witness the dark lust of that glasses man behind you. You'll be crushed, shocked, dumbfounded, stupefied, and it's all useless, Shannon! Yes, that's enough talk out of you. You furniture! Who the hell do you think you are talking like that? No matter how beautiful you try to make love sound, in the end, it's a fraud because love is filthy filth. Don't people become adults when they realize that? Die, you trash furniture scrap! I'll turn you into a filthy maggot, then we'll see whether that glasses guy still loves you. I'll show you that this guy's only had his eyes on your flesh. Die, you piece of crap! Don't you tell me about love! The invisible column of light with Shannon at the center started to have bright red ripples drawn all over it at once. The wall did its best to withstand the unseeable malice that tried to corrode in on them from all directions. Do you actually think you're assisting? You're insignificant. You're frail, just like your cheap ideals, like a frail pretense. You're just hiding what you don't want to what you don't want to see by covering it with a veil. Do you still not understand? That's why you're furniture, you furniture. See. It's being erased. Crack, crunch, smack, slap. How thin, how shameful. Parmigiano Reggiano would be harder to cut through than your frail resistance!
The golden windstone that covered the room gradually began to shave the walls off the column that protected Shannon and George. The bright red ripples frantically drew a resisting pattern, but that just turned it into a red wall of despair that began to wrap the two of them up.
George-san, I'm sorry. It was too much. For me. After all.
Yeah. Thank you. You fought for my sake. That alone makes me happy. The round wall that had once protected them was assaulted and covered with a curve of bright red ripples as it seemed to scream, and it began to suck the two of them up instead.
George-san, can I ask for a favor?
Shannon grasped George's hands behind her, so George hugged her shoulders just as strongly. What is it?
In the end, please let me hear you say I love you.
Yeah. Sayo, I will forever. Yeah, I'm gonna need a moment. There's my water bottle. That was we see the fit. We see the fit. That was amazing. There's so much to talk about. First off, I wanted to mention, yes, we saw the Ruby kid. I'm sad that it doesn't have red hair, but it has the little the twin drills, so that is very Ruby-like. Okay, where do I start? Okay, so let's start with the bad news. My bad news is that before in the other streams, I'm surprised none of you brought it up, maybe because you forgot, because it was obviously wrong. I thought that Shannon was playing the role of the 19th visitor because they were never seen in the same room together unless they were alone. But here, Goda saw Shannon and the witch together. George saw Shannon and the witch together. So, theory to confirm, found dead on the gutter. Very sad. I got no defense on that, no reprisal theory for that. But that's the least thing that matters. What matters the most is Beatrice. I hope we get to see her crash out like that again, because that was extremely fun. But also very, very telling, isn't it? She clearly... I love Ryokishi, but like this guy could not make things any more obvious. He is very on the nose. I wonder if all his writing is like that. But I like it. Because it's very obvious that Beatrice here has some kind of resentment or trauma with love that it's like, obviously she does. She sees love as just lust, and she hates the thought of love. But she was the one preaching about love before, so I think she preaches it to people that she wants to trick, because she knows that love is fake, because she just wants to see people suffer through the pain of a breakup, right? Most likely because she went through something like that. But the thing is, with who? If it's with Kinso obviously likes her, so why, right? But no, I think it does still make sense. Why not Kinso? Because I say obviously love you, I was playing a straw man there. I didn't mean that. With Kinso, like I said before in a previous stream, Kinso's quote-unquote love is obsession. He's obsessed with the idea of Beatrice. He's obsessed with, I mean, yeah, I cannot say it any more simply or plainly. He is obsessed with the idea of Beatrice. He does not actually know Beatrice, because like Beatrice said, not even Kinso could see Beatrice. He doesn't have it in him to see her. So Kinso has not even met Beatrice. He hasn't even truly known her. He's just obsessed and in love, quote unquote, with the idea of her. So maybe that is part of Beatrice's hurt, that she thought she finally found love with Kinso, and it turned out he just wanted her for her beauty because of how obsessed he is with the portrait, and for her powers and the things that he brought him. So he never truly loved her, and that's when she became disillusioned with love. Or maybe it's some other secret backstory we don't know yet, and Kinso was just a small part of it. Either way, extremely knows that Beatrice has some trauma in there. I forgot which one of you was it, but one of you guys, probably Ruby at some point, called Umineko a love story. I'm thinking. And now with this revelation, the thing that makes the most sense is to fix Beatrice, if she can be fixed, would be to show her that true love does exist. So are we thinking that we call George the pedophile, but I think Beatrice should go on that list real soon. I mean, no, Butler is of age, right? Either way, now I'm thinking that maybe the whole thing is, sorry, I'm eating a strawberry. The whole thing is for Butler to fall in love with Beatrice and show her true love. But like how? This is actually This is actually really good. Never mind. Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook. I just had a thought that's making me like Beatrice a lot more than I already did, if I'm right. So this is where Toby Fox did the idea of a heart for the soul. It all makes sense. That's exactly where I was leading, yeah! Okay, what was I saying? Alright, I just had a thought. And maybe like Beatrice a lot more, so. We already know how much I love characters that just want to be seen. This is so funny. So, like everyone, I have my own characters and my own little story that I work on when I'm bored, who doesn't make their own OCs and whatnot. And the protagonist of my story, there's two. One is someone like Natsuhi that really just wants to be seen. She tries so hard to make friends. She tries so hard to stand out. She just wants to be accepted. She wants to be seen as a person. But it's so hard for her. And people just ignore her because she isn't really anything. She doesn't amount to anything. So that's because I love characters who just want to be seen. Like Natsuhi. So boom, right? But now the first protagonist I made for my story is someone who is extremely self-destructive, who isolates herself and cuts contact with people. She thinks that she deserves to suffer. She thinks that she doesn't deserve to find happiness, right? And now I'm thinking that is the deal with Beatrice. Whatever happened with her and her disillusionment of love is now making her into a self-destructive person, and that's why she puts up so many. That's why she makes it hard to solve the riddle, even though the riddle will help her. She doesn't think that she deserves to be helped. She's gonna make it hard to solve the riddle because she doesn't want anyone to solve it. Because if someone solves it, it means that she'll have to confront herself and help herself, and she just doesn't deserve that. It's either that she thinks she doesn't deserve it or doesn't think that it exists. Like, there's no point. There's no point in trying to find love when she already became disillusioned with it. So now, this makes a lot of sense now, and I'm liking it a lot more. If the whole deal of the game has been just her putting up these walls, lying, and making it impossible for Butler. Oh my god! Oh, dude, dude. She's just been putting up all these walls and making it really hard to solve the riddle and to solve the mysteries because she doesn't want it to be solved, because if it gets solved, that means she'll get help, and she doesn't want help, or at least she doesn't think she deserves help, so she puts up all these walls, and Butler keeps fighting and fighting and fighting to break them down and to get to her, to get to the real, to get to her heart-shaped object in her heart. So, it's cute now. I see how it's cute now. I get it now. I get it. He doesn't give up. He's gonna keep trying to get to her so that he can save her. I get it now. Masterful move. Masterful move. If any of that is right, I mean, Ruby called it a love story, right? So it has to be right. That's really sweet when you look at it that way. She is so self-destructive and self-isolating. She copes by seeing people suffer instead of experiencing love. And she would do it in a loop over and over, and that's why she's infinity. And then we have Butler over here. What's an unstoppable force, and she's the unmovable object, right? But he's going to move it. He's going to move it. Oh my goodness, it's so weak. It's so weak. I'm gonna drink water. Okay, so now I really cannot give up. No matter how much happens to me, I'm not giving up. I'm solving everything. I gotta for Beatrice. Let us continue now. See, this is why I couldn't stream yesterday. If I did, like an hour already passed, right? It would be really hard to stop. I know I would have a little bit more time, but what if, like, in the next 20 minutes, something epic happens? Nah, it would have been dangerous. Anyways, after Genji finished his late meal, he went out to the nighttime rounds inside the mansion. Alright, character menu. This was my plan all along, of course. Alright, and talk more about the music. I can't. It's just that they don't miss. That was amazing, and you can hear it how I read things during music segments. Like whenever the music is slow, my voice gets slow, and whenever the music is intense, I start screaming and so it's effective. It does its job very well. It affects my emotion without me doing it on purpose, which is like the highest compliment. Why are you still alive? Why are any of you still alive? Alright. Possibly means something, possibly not. Let's continue. He eats some of the reheated soup that Goda had made, along with some random leftovers from the refrigerator. Those were all things Goda had made himself and were of course delicious. He had half-heartedly... What a horrible sentence, I hate that. He had half-heartedly... the quadruple H. He had half-heartedly gone to ask Rosa and the others what they would do for dinner, but he'd been yelled at by a voice telling him that the canned food they had would be enough, and the door wasn't even open for him. Wow, I can't believe... We see the fit. We see the fit. Clairvoyant drew dog food. Dinner. So ironically, the servant Genji was able to eat a more delicious meal. But why was it that Genji wasn't afraid to do the rounds all by himself? Even though all those crimes had been committed and many people had already met a brutal end. That my mouth noise? Judging by his appearance as he carried out his usual task without a trace of fear, as though everything was normal. You might think all of the horrible events that day had been no more than a dream or an illusion. Was he taking a philosophic view, or had he just accepted his fate? Genji must have considered it a virtue that when the fate that awaited him was unavoidable, he carried out his duties systematically until the last moment. The depths of his heart would probably remain hidden for all eternity unless he spoke of them himself. He had returned his master key to Rosa, so the places he could reach were extremely limited. All he could do was walk around the hallways, checking to make sure all the windows were closed. That probably made his rounds go a lot faster than usual. Dinner. Dead. At the sound of a reverse knock, Aunt Rosa, who had been falling into a doze, jumped and woke up, pointing the barrel of the gun to the door as she yelled. Who is it? I was napping on a sofa, and that voice also brought me back to reality.
Rosa-sama, it is I, Genji.
Do you have some business? Don't worry about opening the door. Tell us from there.
Yes, ma'am. In that case, forgive me for speaking in this fashion. I have found Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa's corpses.
What did she say? I see. Very well. Let's go check them. Until I see the corpses, I cannot believe anyone.
It's okay, Butler. If you stay with me, it'll definitely be okay.
Maybe my face seemed to be darkened with anxiety. Maria grasped my hand with her small hand and spoke softly, trying to give me courage. Since it was Aunt Rosa's job to ready the gun and stand guard, it fell to me to remove the barricade of sofas. When I finished, I took a backwards glance at Aunt Rosa, who was pointing the barrel of the gun over my shoulder, and opened the door. Genji-san, where are the corpses?
In the courtyard. I shall guide you.
Butler-kun, wait! Just in case, let's check the windows and... Why is she German? The windows and doors of this room. Wait a second. Aunt Rosa called me to a halt to prevent me from going on ahead, and began to carefully check the locks of each of the windows. But those locks had already been checked once. It kind of felt unpleasant, as though she suspected that I might have secretly unlocked them when she wasn't looking. No, maybe Aunt Rosa was right to be cautious. Dude. I'm sorry, break. That section, greatest moment of my life. I was watching it in VC, and I had a friend who like really believed that this would be an update that would come, and unsurmountably rage baited when they said, we didn't have enough time to explore the rest, no. And then when they got the second enemy encounter and fled from it, the rage bait worked extremely well on my friend. I was just laughing. I could not stop laughing. That moment was the greatest thing ever. And like, it was so good. That bit was fantastic. When Charlie didn't want to use the healing items, and he said, "Nah, I don't want to waste them," and Toby Fox says, "Saving them for what? What else is there?" Just fueling the fire of making people think that there's more, that there's something on the other paths. Like, I'm sorry, Sons, but Toby Fox definitely is a higher placement than you on rage rating. Charlie is seriously a goat. Like, on the VC, we were all macking on him for getting hit or dying, right? But like, I did the Sans fight, the new one, I couldn't beat it. I'll try again some other time, but nah, that thing, Charlie is goated. I'm sorry, Charlie, for anything I said. Though it was called a courtyard, it wasn't really a pretty place you could take a walk in like the Rose Garden. On the contrary, it was surrounded by the mansion on all sides, and made you feel a little uncomfortable, as though it was telling you that there would be no escape from this mansion, no matter where you tried to run. It was so, he's like genuinely cracked. It's insane. On the other hand, that meant that even though we could still hear the violent winds, the wind itself was blocked. Genji-san held out an umbrella, but Aunt Rosa ignored her. She was probably hinting that the gun took 2 hands, and it would be dangerous if she took the umbrella. We didn't need Genji-san pointing for us to notice. Right in the center of the courtyard, we could see where Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san lay. Aunt Rosa entered the courtyard without even opening an umbrella. So Genji and I also entered the courtyard without opening one. Only Maria opened hers. Cute. Maria? Is this... you know what?
Oh, it's a 7 and 8 twilights.
I see. I see. Certainly, just as Genji-san and the others said, there are horrible wounds on their necks. The cuts are quite sharp. Almost as though they were sliced with a katana or something. Don't say it. 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 Be strong. Be strong. I'm strong. Those gaping wounds on their necks definitely made me want to avert my eyes. But after seeing the Halloween party in the chapel, even though they looked horrible, they were no longer enough to make me feel sick. More importantly, our gazes fell to their legs, to Dr. Nanjo's knee. His corpse, which had gone missing, was later found in the courtyard. At the same time, it was found with a weapon striped like a stake having been rammed into his knee. That finishes up the 7th twilight. Her corpse, which had gone missing, was found in the courtyard. At that time, it was found with a weapon shaped like a stake having been rammed into the ankle. That finishes up the 8th twilight as well. Tsukumosawa-san's ankle. Driven into each of them was something like a knife or a stake with a demonic design. That must have been the same as the thing that had pierced Jessica's back. What is this? It's just like what happened to Jessica-chan. Is this something... Is this supposed to be some kind of a cult ceremony, I wonder?
I do not know. Last time I saw their bodies, there was nothing like this. Maybe it was done after they carried out to the cemetery.
This one stuck into Dr. Nanjo's knee was still standing erect, but the one that had been thrust into Kumasawa-san's ankle might have been a little shallower. It had come out and fallen over. So by looking at that one that had fallen over, for the first time I realized that it wasn't a knife, but something like a stake. Its full length was probably about 30 centimeters. It was probably made out of bronze or iron or something of the sort. Even without touching it, I could tell it had some weight to it. It was composed of a grip and a cone-shaped part. It was obviously made to be a piercing weapon. Maybe it was like a miniature version of those lances Western knights used to on your horseback. The spiral-shaped stitches in it made it look like a small drill. However, the grip had an occult design modeled after a demon or something. So instead of a weapon used in war, it felt like something that would be used in a ceremony to offer up living sacrifices. 1 second. There's no mistake. You're meant to be sacrifices.
On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill.
Wait a second. That means they're left out the 4th and 5th and 6th twilights. Could it be? Of course. Why is Genji-san alone? If something like this had happened, why aren't George Aniki, Goda-san, and Shannon-chan here? Why was Genji-san alone?
What's going on? Where did George-kun and the others go?
They said they wanted to search for something in Madame Natsui's room and they left. They have not returned yet.
What did you say? You say they left, but when was that?
2 or 3 hours ago, I believe.
No way! Why didn't you tell us something that... Wait, no. Why didn't you think that was suspicious?
There must be at least one servant on standby at all times. It was my duty to wait for orders until they returned.
Was Genji-san really that much of a robot? This is bad. This is bad. This is really bad. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san were killed like this, which means that 3 people had already been killed. We ran towards Annatsui's room, with a touch of anxiety and just as much resignation. Before we even saw the inside of Annatsui's room, we were forced to resign ourselves to a certain fact. On that door was a bizarre scribble. No. Filth? Anyway, the room wasn't in an ordinary state, and without even opening the door, we could imagine what we'd find inside. On the face of the door, how should I say it? Handprints, done heavily with the same red paint as the magic circles from before. Had banged the door, scratched at it, dirtied it. It looked like the aftermath of a kindergartner playing in the mud. I didn't know what it could mean. The bright red paint had been slathered on, was dripping down, and even though no one said it, it made us think of blood. Genji-san, please open it! Androsa held her gun up high and ordered Genji-san to open the door. Genji-san approached her without seemingly particularly troubled by that stuff on it and turned the knob, but immediately turned around, shaking his head. He doesn't have the key. It was locked. At that moment, there was only one person in this mansion who could lock and unlock doors at will, Aunt Rosa. This time, Genji-san asked Aunt Rosa to unlock the door instead of the other way around. After frowning slightly for a second, Aunt Rosa handed me the master key and told me to open the door. Butler-kun, would you open it for me with this? Just trusting Genji-san with something like that wouldn't... Aunt Rosa glared at me intensely. Getting into a fight with her would only make the mood turn even more sour. Without talking back anymore, I approached that creepy door and tried the knob. It didn't open. It was definitely with the resistance of the lock. I stuck the master key into the keyhole. Clunk. There was a slight resistance. Aunt Rosa told me to be on my guard, and I opened the door without really regarding myself in any way. And then, there was a scene laid out before us that didn't betray my expectations at all.
Horrible.
As I thought, it was a reproduction of the 4th, 5th, and 6th twilights. The inside of the room looked as though a robber had just broken in. Drawers had been flung open, pulled out, and had the contents thrown about all over the place, leaving the room so cluttered you'd never believe it belonged to the methodical Aunt Natsuki. But the very first thing that caught her eye was Goda-san's corpse lying face down right in front of the door. Right in the center of his chest, almost as though it had been stuck there to finish off a vampire, was one of those demon stakes from before. Exactly how far could it have reached after being stuck that deeply into his chest? Just imagining it would make anyone's chest hurt. Wasn't gouging the chest the 5th twilight? Maria grabbed my hand. Her expression looked just like normal, but maybe she really was afraid of the aura in this room where 3 corpses lay. And along the wall farthest into the room, Dorochaniki lay dead. This time, one of those stakes had been rammed into the center of his stomach. was engaged in gouging the stomach the sixth twilight. So cool looking. Shanonchan's corpse was face down in front of the dresser, lying in a sea of blood. She had seen her own face at the end. Had she seen her own face at the end, in that horribly broken mirror stained with blood? Because she was lying that way. I couldn't see her face, but I could guess even without saying it. Nearby in the sea of blood, she lay and the demon's stake had fallen. Only the fourth twilight was left, gouged the head and killed. Maybe my heart was totally worn out and dead. Even though I knew it was wrong, I lifted her head and checked, and I confirmed that my guess had been right on the mark. There was a gaping hole in Shannon's head, and the insides were dripping out. Not only that, but you could even see inside. After seeing that, I finally realized that I was doing something wrong. I immediately averted my eyes, but by now it was probably pointless. Hey, Butler-kun, you mustn't touch anything until the police arrive. What do you think you're doing touching it? What will you do if our precious evidence of the scene gets disturbed? Androsa got violently mad at me and even tugged at the back of my collar. I tottered limply and fell on my butt, gazing dimly at the ceiling. Maria? With this, even the 8th twilight is over. What was the 9th twilight again? Ushirimiya George died in Natsui's room with his stomach having been pierced by the weapon shaped like a stake. On the 6th twilight, gouged the stomach and killed. It's hard to say, but it might have been the 2nd twilight. Died in Natsui's room with her forehead having been pierced by the weapon shaped like a stake. On the 4th twilight, gouged the head and killed. She got to spend her last moments with the man she loved. I think it's just saying that Shannon and George could have been the 2nd twilight in another world. Goda Toshiro died in Natsui's room with his chest having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. On the 5th twilight, gouged the chest and killed. The chef goose was cooked.
On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive.
Alright, because of what was happening, I didn't get to mourn about that. I did like him at the end there. He was goated. He was indeed goated. And he got more strawberry. See. After this, the golden witch Beatrice will be revived. What then? On the final 10th twilight.
On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasure, once and for the last time. Very soon, the doors of the Golden Land will be opened. Very soon.
The witch shall be revived and none shall be left alive, huh? We're gonna die now? Or does this mean the ceremony of the sacrifice is over, and that now at journey's end we'll reach the Golden Land? Our journey? Yeah, right. We spend the whole day trying to find the culprit, racking our brains as we try to break out of this situation. And we haven't gotten anywhere. It's like they say, thinking stupid is no better than sleeping. That's right. We spent the whole day burning ourselves up with hatred and paranoia. We were so sure we could only trust the dead, that we came all the way here just to confirm these 3 deaths with our own eyes. If we're like this, why? Why should we be able to make it to the Golden Land? That's right. We couldn't solve any of our problems anyway. It would have been so much better if we just locked ourselves up the whole time without thinking at all. Grandfather, the wisest of us. He's been shut up in his room since yesterday without any contact with anyone. That was the right decision. Grandfather was the most correct of us all.
It's okay, Butler. If you're with me, you'll be okay. The witch is very fickle, and she's a terrifying being who might kill humans partly for fun sometimes. However, if you're with me, you'll be okay. So don't be afraid.
Thank you. Even if you're just saying it to console me. I'm glad. After Aunt Rosa finished investigating the corpses, she announced that she'd seal this room again. Chased the rest of us out, stole back the master key she'd lent me, and locked the door again. Apparently George Aniki had been holding the key to Aunt Natsui's room. She also collected that. Wait a sec. She's got all of the master keys on her person. If Natsui's own key was locked up inside this room, doesn't that make it another closed room? Hold up. I won't fail. I won't falter. You gotta take gambles. You gotta take gambles. My gamble is that when Butler was taking a nap in the parlor, Rosa could have gone and did all this and then used the master key to lock the door. So once again, Rosa. I feel like that's too obvious now. They're making it too obvious that it might be Rosa. Am I falling for another red herring? If it doesn't get revealed today on this stream, I'll try making another defense in case Rosa isn't the culprit. Just to be prepared. Now that the suspicions surrounding those three have been cleared, we return to the parlor once more. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. If only the dead are innocent and everyone alive is the wolf, that leaves only me, Aunt Rosa, Maria, and Genji-san. And besides us, there's only grandfather and the 19th person, the guest we see no trace of. Beatriz. 13 people have died and 6 are left. How would us wolves and sheep puzzle with only 6 people and even though a wolf that started with 19 people had been reduced to 6, I can't think of an answer. We returned to the parlor. I was a bit worried that while we were gone, a creepy magic circle or something would have been drawn at the parlor door, but thankfully we didn't find anything like that. Thank you, Genji-san. This is far enough. Please rest for the day.
Certainly. Then please excuse me.
Hey, Aunt Rosa, are you saying you'll leave Genji-san all alone in a situation like this?
That's right. I do think it's quite dangerous. But in that case, why is he safe? After those 3 headed to Natsui's Nissan's room, he was alone the whole time, and yet he is safe. It's a wolves and sheep puzzle. Why would a sheep be safe if it was all alone and therefore in its weakest possible something?
I skipped it too soon. Probably because by coincidence there weren't any wolves around.
Wrong. It's because it wasn't a sheep.
Are you saying Genji-san's a wolf?
He said he was alone in the kitchen, but that's impossible to prove. The only ones who could have carried Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san's corpses and who could have killed George and the rest were him and Beatrice, right?
Wait, with that argument, anyone...
Butler-sama, thank you for your concern. I believe trust is won not with 100 excuses, but with a simple faithfulness. Even if I am not able to gain your trust, I wish to be faithful unto the end.
Genji-san!
Then we are decided.
If you truly are innocent, the police will prove that for us when they come tomorrow. So until then, we cannot remove you from the suspicion. After your long years of service, I find it truly painful to treat you so poorly. But please understand about tonight. And when tomorrow comes, please let us make up again. Genji-san gave his head a small shake.
Today and tomorrow, I will continue to be a servant of the Ushirime family. If you need anything, please say so at any time. Then, if you'd excuse me.
After hearing all that, there was nothing left to say. Genji-san bowed deeply and left down the hall. Then we entered the room. Even though Aunt Rosa still held all the master keys herself, she thoroughly checked the inside of the parlor again. She opened the curtains and checked again to make sure the windows were locked. As I watched, how should I say it, I felt like it didn't really matter anymore. If I said anything careless, it would turn into another fight. For a while, I gazed at her from the corridor. I figured I waited just about long enough and entered the parlor behind her. If she doesn't trust anyone but the dead, why doesn't she just go around killing everyone with the gun she's got in her hand? And then in the end, she'll realize that she herself is the wolf. Then she can just blast through the head of the final wolf and close the curtain on this insane murder drama. As I thought that bitterly, I returned to the sofa where I'd been encamped before, rudely resting both of my feet on the table. When I tried to do that, I found something there and stopped moving my feet. What is this? Right there, almost as though it had been addressed to me, was the Western envelope. It was that envelope from before with the seal of the one-winged eagle, and it was unopened. Wait. What is this? Who put it in a place like this and when? Until I went with everyone to check the corpses, I was sitting here the whole time. There wasn't anything there then. And when I returned, it was here. It's okay. Everything's still locked up securely. This room is safe. I heard Rosa muttering that. Wait. We made sure this room was safe when we left it. We checked the windows, were all perfectly locked. Then we locked it up, came back, then the windows were still locked. Then wait, who put this letter here and how? I opened the letter. 2 pieces of stationery came out. The first page had a magic circle drawn in it with something like blood. If I asked Maria, she'd probably know what it meant. And there was writing on the other page. Have you made progress in solving the epitaph? In just a short while, your time will be up in a flash. The 9th twilight will begin quite soon. There was no mistake. It was a letter from Beatrice.
Butler.
When we came here just now. Crap. It was sitting right there. What happened, Maria? Huh? Butler-kun, that letter! Wait! It was sitting right here. Why? Even though we checked to make sure this room was locked. Why? Maria, come here. Aunt Rosa closed her eyes just a little, and after thinking silently for a moment, told Maria to come. Maria obeyed her mother's words, as she did something unbelievable happen. Aunt Rosa pointed the barrel of that gun at me. Butler-kun, I've concluded that you are the wolf. Why? When I came into this room just now, I saw that there was nothing at all on the table. And I know that Maria did not approach the table. We're talking about a short stretch of time, but the only one who claims to have approached the table and found that letter is you. How can you? Wait, that's all screwed up. Why would I put something like this here? Wait. I just found something suspicious and reopened it, right? Reported it, right? Why are you suspecting me? Because only you could have set that letter there. That's right, this is all a charade. You pulled an envelope from your pocket and then acted as though you just found it, to create the illusion that which entered the closed room, set down a letter and left. Dumbass. Are you thinking like that again? Are you going to suspect me because of something like that? Cut it out. My dad and everyone else was killed. Why would I take part in this corporate scheme?
True. Even if you were offered a large sum of money, I don't want to believe in the existence of this sort of demon who could sell out their own parents. Then again, maybe such a demon does exist. No, that's a bad way to say it. What if you didn't view Rudolf Nissan and Kairi-san as your parents?
What? Think about what you're saying here. Dad is dad, right? Of course I'm not related to Kairi-san's by blood, but she's like a big sister to me. No way in hell I'd let a comment like that slide, you bastard.
Stop it!
Stop saying
I'm sorry, that was a bad way to put it. True, Ushiroya Butler-kun may be half Rudolf Nissan's child.
Wait, what? Maybe Rudolph... Where did I read the half? Holy cow.
But are you really that Butler-kun?
What the hell are you talking about? If I'm not Butler, who else do I look like?
All of us, including Rudolf Nissan, are seeing you for the first time in 6 years. No one can prove that you really are Ushiroya Butler, right? Maybe you aren't Butler, but someone who snuck in making a skillful beat to steal the wealth of the Ushiroya family. How can you clearly prove that you're Ushiroya Butler? Right here, right now!
Cut it out, damn it. It's not me, Ushiroya Butler. If we're gonna suspect even things like that, are you really Ushiroya Rosa? I myself and no one else. Yeah, that's right. It's just as you say. You can't trust anyone but corpses and yourself. If you're gonna go that far, let me make an objection. Georgianiki and the others were found dead and Annatsu's room was locked. Georgianiki had the key to that room, right? And by now, the only one with the master key is you, Aunt Rosa, right? Aren't you the only one who could have unlocked that room? My theory goes like this. You were in contact with the real culprit. And while I wasn't looking, you lent them one of the 5 master keys.
I didn't do something like that. See, there are 5 of them here, right?
As if that matters. You could have had them set in the pre-arranged spot and collected them, right? And weren't you the one who doubted whether there really were 5 master keys?
So how do you suggest that someone other than yourself placed that letter there? Until you find proof someone else did it, you are a youth.
Shut up! Then why don't you show me your proof? How do you claim the culprit killed Georgianiki and the rest in the closed room? How did they lock it? Gosh. I'm scared. She's gonna say it in red that Rosa isn't the culprit. And then what? And then what do I do? I don't want to put the stream on a 3-hour break to think of another defense. Because it's so perfect, it's so solid. But it's too perfect, it's too solid, and the game is pointing out to it, so it can't be true anymore. Let me know when one of you needs to sleep, because I'm gonna try making a second defense. Making this one was hard enough. It is impossible to unlock the lock to the chapel with anything but the chapel's key. So that one is the only one that cannot be opened with a master key. Wonder if that shall be relevant, but just keep it in mind. Thinking time. So messed up. The defense that I need to come up with. I mean, okay, the defense I need to come up with needs to implicate the 19th visitor. Not any other family members, and not chalk it up to any magic. Hi, Sims. Should Golden Man 3? Whatever. It's impossible. The only master keys are the ones held by servants, one key each. First, there are absolutely no types of hidden doors. This door is the only way in or out. The only way to lock this door is with just a single key or the master keys, only one of which is held by each servant. However, the window is locked from the inside. Kanun was killed in this room. When locked, entry is not possible by any means. No trick could have the effect of locking the door from the outside without using the key. Kanun was killed in the room. There are no hidden doors in this room. There is no way to get in or out other than the door and the windows. There are no hidden doors. When Jessica corpses was discovered, Orin Butler, George Maria Rosa, Genji, Goda, Shannon, Kumasawa, and Anjo were in Jessica's room. Whoops, the corpse of Jessica is also included, therefore both in the case involving Jessica's room and the one involving the servant room, no humans exist that we were unaware of. No one is hiding. That's like the killer right there. We need to suspect one of the family members, but I don't want to. My new defense needs to be someone that cannot suspect any of the family members. But that just makes it impossible. Stop. Get this out my screen. Like, Maria was there for both. So yeah, we can really say that maybe it's not Rosa, it's Maria who killed everyone, but come on now, right? I put that out there just in case, but I don't think so. There are only 5 master keys. Sense. Il fine ferro di eternità. It's just such a strong fact. We've been given so much information, and everything points at it being Rosa or absurdly Maria. I made that theory desperately to have something, but I never liked it. I want to stick blaming Kinso for everything because he's goated and he's gonna lock in. You know what? I don't like it one bit. because I'm once again not directly blaming Kinso, but I am blaming Kinso in a way. Remember how in episode 1 I said that Shannon was the one responsible for the storage murders, and that Kanon was a suicide at the bottom. What I was getting at then, what I said then, was that the servants have to follow whatever Kinso says, and Kinso's the one behind this whole game. And what made me realize something is that every murder so far has included a servant. So the chapel murders could have just been all the servants together, working together to kill everyone. On orders of Kinso, of course. With Jessica, crap, but his body was missing. No, still makes sense. With Jessica, Kanon killed Jessica. His body wasn't there because he really did leave Jessica's body there, left, locked the door, and was still alive. Wherever his body is and however he died does not matter. Could have been suicide. But what matters is that he was still alive when Jessica died. He got out and he locked the door. Then exploded in whatever way, but he is dead. Then Kumasawa killed Nanjo because she's a servant. So Kumasawa was ordered to kill Nanjo. Then she dragged Nanjo's body to the courtyard and killed herself there. That's why they have That's why she has a neck slice. I think that makes sense to me. She stabbed her ankle first and then took it out and sliced her neck, and that's why her ankle stake was not fully in her ankle. It was dropped. Unlike Nanjo, who she killed first and stabbed it deep, right? So now we have... Oh my gosh! Now we have George, Shannon, and Goda, where theme of the sheeps and wolves would come around, because that time, that's what this has all been. It has been sheeps and wolves. With Jessica and Kanon, it was equal, so the wolf wins. With Nanjo and Kumasawa, it was equal, so the wolf wins. And then with this 3-person group, the wolves outnumbered the sheep. And that explains every locked room, because they died inside except for Kanon. Wait, no. Okay, I'll come back to that. I just realized a mistake. But I'll come back to that in a second. Right now, I am so sure Kumasawa kills Nanjo. I forget where... No, it still makes sense. Okay. Yes, it makes sense. Okay. Okay. It's really convoluted, but it still makes sense. The easiest one to explain is George. Goda and Shannon ganged up on him, killed him, and since they were all inside, locked room easy peasy. Because they had Natsui's key. That's the easiest one. But now the harder one. So okay. Kumasawa and Nanjo died in the servant room. Shannon and Goda were there. Goda, Shannon, and Kumasawa were all wolves, so they ganged up on Nanjo easily. So then they put Kumasawa in. Beatrice hasn't said that Kumasawa died in the servant room, has she? I'm checking. Yes, no. So, her not saying that makes it clear that Kumasawa is the one that took Nanjo's body, put her in the courtyard, and then she killed herself in the courtyard. Now, the thing that I remembered that I mentioned a bit ago, I remembered that Beatrice said that Kanon died in Jessica's room. Let me check that again. Kanon was killed in this room. Yeah. So, how did he die again? Actually, it doesn't say. So, easily another suicide. So, he killed Jessica, then killed himself. But then, either Goda or Shannon, I don't remember where they were at this point in time. But either one of them, with the master keys, could have came in, dragged Kanon's body to wherever, locked the door. Boom. So, that's it. Boom, I'm done. So I have two theories. Either Rosa is the culprit, or Rosa really was right, and the servants were the culprits, and the master keys were what was important. Because that's like... Yeah, it's like the important bit. It's like basically like with Rosa, but with the servants instead. So, with Jessica's room, they still had master keys. So Shannon or Goda could have locked it easily after taking Kanon's body out. With the servant room, the keys are inside. So like I said, if Goda or Shannon locked the door to the servant room, when the whole group came in, they could have put the key into the box easily. And then with Natsui's room, well, all of them died in there. So the key is in there with them. Boom bim pow. There you go. I'm confident. I like it. I like it. I like it. Ship it. Ship it. Now, let's continue. I have 2 defenses now. That's what you gotta do. You gotta come prepared with 2 bullets. I have 2 bullets in the chamber now. I cannot be beat. That's exactly right! Natsui's room was exactly the same, just like usual. The door and the windows were locked from the inside. There were no frauds or tricks, no means or secret passages, nor places in which to hide. Natsui's own key was in George's pocket and locked inside the room. That leaves only the 5 master keys, and Rosa was holding all of them. And while I'm at it, the parlor is the same. The key to the parlor itself is sealed away in the servant room. So unlocking it with anything but a master key is impossible. The locked room definition of the room is the same as always. Oh yeah, for the parlor, I think that Maria placed the letter down in her. She had it in her purse. That was like my first thought. So this is not a shocker to me. Come now, there's only one suspect. Or are you still playing innocent to shit on me, a butler? Shut up! You shut up too! You're the one who should shut up. How do you claim the letter was placed here by anyone other than you? Because I was so sure it was Rosa, but now they're making it too obvious that it is Rosa. So I can no longer believe it. How do you claim the letter was placed here by anyone other than you? Unless you can prove such a thing happened, you're a wolf. If we could suspect me, then we could suspect you too. So try showing me some proof yourself. And anyway, weren't you the first person to enter this room and start checking the windows on Rosa? Then you guess that I'll go back to where I've been sitting and secretly put the letter there. It's possible for us to suspect that this is a trap of yours, right? Why would I use a trap like that? If I was a wolf, I'd shoot you with this gun without question. That proves nothing. Maybe you chose the roundabout way of setting a clever trap because you couldn't commit murder in front of Maria. All the master keys are in your hands. So what happened, both here and in the last room, was all you're doing, right? If you think you can talk your way out of this one, then let's hear your excuses. That's right, you've been suspicious from the start, Aunt Rosa. Why is it that even though 6 adults in the family conference were killed, you were the only one exception? Why were you the only one not in the chapel? There can only be one reason. You invited Dad and the rest there and killed them. Damn it. Damn it. That explains everything, doesn't it? Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. Stop saying things that don't make sense! Butler, I was with you. I used to think just like you, not anymore. It's too obvious. It's too obvious because now you're thinking it. And I know you're stupid, so the moment you start thinking it, that means I gotta switch plans.
Stop it! You mustn't fight! Mama too, Butler too, stop it! Stop fighting! It's no one's fault. It's not Butler or Mama's fault. The witch did it, all of this. It was done with magic. It's no one's fault.
Maria thrust herself in between Aunt Rosa and me as the blood started rising to our heads. I was taken aback by Maria's crying voice and returned to my senses. I had acted shamelessly just now. My eyes filled with tears. That's right. It's all the witch's fault, isn't it? All this about keys and tricks and alibis. All of it was stupid. Even though it's the work of the witch, we weren't able to trust each other as humans. Right, Aunt Rosa? From the beginning, there wasn't a human culprit. It was all the work of the witch. So there's no way you're the culprit. And there's no way Maria, Genji-san, or I am either. Why has it come to this? Why am I screaming at Aunt Rosa, who I loved? Why am I having this fight with the kind of aunt I loved so much? Why does everyone have to suspect each other? I'm not gonna suspect my aunt. I'm not gonna suspect anyone. It's all the work of the witch. It's all the work of Beatrice. It's all a crime committed by Beatrice with magic. Beatrice! Please show yourself here and confess to us that you did everything. Sorry already. I'm sorry we've been suspecting each other like this. So please forgive us. Release us. Release us from this hell of suspecting each other until we see each other die. Give me any of my kind of relatives and cousins back. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it all. You definitely exist. It's your victory. Show yourself. Beatrice! Yes! Lying on the bed watching like that one sad. That's another one.
Am I still alive?
Apparently some time ago Kinso had fallen into a doze. He searched for his spectacles and looked at the clock. It was 10 p.m.
The person ceremony. Let's see how far has it progressed. It must have come quite far from this time.
Kinso lifted his heavy body from the chair and approached the portrait of the witch which had gazed at every day.
Beatrice, very soon I will have a chance to be reunited with your smile.
I care not if I die. If I can just see your smile one more time, I will not regret this life. So, for heaven's sake, let me meet with you once more. Then let me swear my love to you. Let me apologize for my crimes. But I won't let you escape. You are mine. From your hair to your toenails, to the nuts under your toenails, you are mine. Every fragment of your flesh is mine. Even the broth of your corpse is mine. I won't let you escape. This time you won't slip from mine hands. I'll make you mine for all eternity. I will never let you escape a second time. I will never let you escape a second time.
Kinso howled in rage, then suddenly fell to his knees as he shook and scraped at the wall. In an instant, he had started sobbing.
That's right. I didn't want to say something like this, Beatrice. Please, let me see you one more time. Even if you only let me apologize. You are beloved. Your fault. I was mistaken. If you would just smile, I wouldn't need anything else. I made a mistake. I made a mistake back then. I did something that cannot be taken back. In atonement, I have offered the whole reminder of my life. In order to apologize to you, in order to atone for my sins, I offered everything. Please, if I must happiness as I die, at least let me apologize. Just once,
He just confirmed everything. He just confirmed everything I thought. His love for Beatrice is not real. It's just pure obsession, and Beatrice sees right through that. He doesn't want to have her as a partner. He wants her as an object to own. And then he mentions what I did back then. I want forgiveness for it. So there you go. Another thing that I had just said. Beatrice was hurt by Kinso in some way. Maybe whenever it came out that he didn't really love her and just saw her as an object. So that's 2. And then 3, I offered up everything. All my reminder, referring to the sacrifices, meaning that I was correct, that the epitaph in the whole game is Kinso's game, not Beatrice's. Beatrice is not behind the killings. Beatrice is not... She's not after the death. She doesn't want to reclaim anything. Nothing. It was all Kinso's game. So just one little scene and 1, 2, 3 of my speculations are confirmed. Incredible. As Kinso shook and cried, a butterfly appeared out of nowhere behind his small back like a flat flake of gold leaf and softly descended. You fool, Kinso. Did you think any woman out there would fall for a man's tears? Well, even if it wouldn't make a human woman fall for you, it might do the trick for a woman who is not human. Kinso, do you remember? That game of chess you played with me, which is still ongoing. Kinso, As though he had suddenly remembered something, approached the chess set. It was as it had been during the game he played with Nanjo until yesterday. After knocking all the pieces off the chessboard, he began to line them up again, one by one. It was a setup for an ongoing game.
That's right. Like this. I advanced my queen. That was quite a spectacular move. Perhaps it was a little too intense for you. I worried whether you'd abandon your piece or not. Worried for so long.
Kinso waited with the opposite seat empty. Surely very soon his opponent would appear here, and he would be able to restart this game again. You fool, Kinso. You want to apologize? You want to see my face again? You want to make my smile an eternal thing? Why can't you say a much, much simpler word? Even though that is the sole element of this world. Because he doesn't truly love. Because he doesn't truly love. At the time, Kinso muttered. Was it a prayer? An entreaty? It was probably best to just call it muttering. Well, crap.
I love you, Beatrice.
They were pure words, like something an innocent child would say without any evil intent. You really are a fool, Kinso. If you ever have the chance to do your life all over again, know that those words will never cause a woman to fall for you. That's right. Not unless a miracle happens. That's what makes this. At that moment, Kinso definitely heard a small knock, one with a tempo that differed from those of the servants.
Who is this?
The woman beyond the door didn't answer.
I'm asking you who you are. Will you not answer?
The woman beyond the door didn't answer.
Could it be? Oh, could it be? Beatrice. Beatrice! Beatrice!
The woman beyond the door answered. On the night twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. I still think that the I love you he said was empty. Butler's figure was in the dining hall. He didn't feel like going back to the guest house in the middle of all this rain, and wandered haphazardly around the mansion in search for any place where he could sit before setting up camp in the dining hall. He didn't even lock the door. He thought the shapeless murderer or maybe the Golden Witch might come to kill him now that he was isolated, but he no longer had any desire to resist. He didn't even feel like using a locked door to hold off the culprit. He wanted the person to come at him openly from the front. Small break. Okay, so I really want to keep going until I finish the episode, unless I get like unsurmountably tired. But if any of you need to go to sleep, let me know. I'll gladly stop. You would be doing me a favor because I get to sleep. If it was a killer, he wanted to ask them about some of those wonderful close room tricks as a parting gift. If it was the witch, he hoped she'd at least take his life with some spectacular magic. However, ironically, neither of these two came to meet him. Butler opened the liquor cabinet on his own and enjoyed the liquor to his heart's content. No longer was there anyone to scold him for drinking alcohol. He boldly rested his legs on the extravagant tablecloth and savored the high-quality liquor, which probably had a mind-boggling price, drinking it down straight from the bottle. Then someone knocked. Butler realized that someone had finally come to greet him. Hey, it's not locked. Whoever you are, please come in. So go ahead and introduce yourself. If you're human, please give me your name. If you're Beatrice, please tell me your bust size. I may not look it, but I'm well known as a breast sommelier, you see.
It is Genji Butler-sama.
Genji-san, huh? Sorry, but I have no interest in your breast size. Please, Come in, it's unlocked.
Excuse me.
Genji-san opened the door and bowed. So, is Genji-san the criminal after all, or maybe an accomplice? That theory would probably explain most of the tricks. Read a little more, streamer. Alright. Did you come to give me my last rites?
Nothing of the sort. I apologize if I am disturbing you.
Hey! Saying I'm sorry without even telling me what you're going is actually pretty creepy. What do you want? Are you gonna tell me that drinking alcohol is forbidden for minors? I would just die anyway. Please let me do what I want now that it's all about to end. So he is a minor! So Beatrice is a pedophile! Whoa! Ooh, future pedophile.
Mother-sama, do you love alcohol so much that you would spend the little time you have left drinking?
Those words pierced me. That wasn't true. I just can't cope if I don't drink. I can't even taste the alcohol at all.
You are just like the master. Indeed, you inherited the master's blood strongly.
You mean grandfather, the heavy drinker, was drinking to drown his sorrows all the time? Or as I've heard of it.
After a number of sad incidents, the master's life was reduced to one of atonement alone.
What is it you know?
The Beatrice ceremony was completed with the 8th twilight ended. I believe I can tell you everything now.
What did you say? My drunkenness was completely blown away. I lowered my feet from the table and listened carefully to hear what Genji would say next.
Butler-sama, I shall guide you to the master's study. It would probably be best to hear it directly from both the master and...
From both grandfather and... Hey, what in the world do you mean by that?
Come, this way. I shall guide you. Butler-sama.
After Genji-san told me to follow him, he started to walk down the corridor. I threw my drunkenness off completely and went after him. We climbed a big staircase towards the 3rd floor. Genji-san stopped walking halfway. He then turned back and spoke.
Butler-sama, from here on, you will probably see things you will not be able to understand.
Don't think that'll scare me. I've already seen enough incomprehensible things today to make me sick.
Please accept what you see as you see it, and accept what you hear as you hear it. Why? What? There is no need for questions like that. You will learn the truth and that is all. I will leave it completely up to you, Butler-sama. Whether to accept it or believe it or deny it.
Genji-san checked one last time to see whether I was prepared to know the truth. The 8th twilight had already ended, and on the 9th twilight the witch would revive, and nobody would be left alive. It meant that Beatrice had already been revived, and it probably also meant that none of us would be allowed to return alive. If I was going to lose my life anyway. I wanted to know the truth in the end. It didn't matter how hard it might be to accept. Yeah. Even if a demon or a witch shows up, I'm prepared.
Indeed. You are just like the master in his youth. Butler-sama, please be diligent in your studies. In the future, you will surely have great aspirations. And when the time comes, see to it that you are never forced to regret a lack of study and training.
I'd be happy to, assuming I ever get a chance to work hard in my studies. Genji-san's silence felt like it was further confirming a certain resigned feeling I had. And then the door to grandfather's study, surrounded by a sweet smell, came into sight. Genji-san took a gold key with an elegant design out from his pocket. The master keys had been confiscated by Aunt Rosa, but he kept the key to the study alone on his person. He put it in his keyhole, and it made a heavy clunking sound.
Master, it is I, Genji. I have brought Butler-sama with me.
There was no reply, but it seemed that permission to go inside had been given.
Come, Butler-sama. Please go in.
Okay, I'll go in. I readied myself and threw the door open. At that moment, I got slightly disoriented by the dazzling golden glow. It was, unbelievably, a swarm of butterflies that shone gold. The gold butterflies that completely filled the inside of the study poured out all at once. What is this? It was almost like golden leaf confetti. The interior of Grandfather's study was filled with a golden glow. And on a sofa like a reception chair in front of the study desk, I could see Grandfather's back. There was someone on the side opposite from Grandfather. It was in shadow, so I couldn't see it well.
Master, I brought Butler-sama.
Butler, is it? I'm busy thinking now. Be silent for a while.
Kinzel declared that unhappily his back still turned. It seemed he was enjoying a chess game with a visitor. Apparently the opponent had counterattacked with a superb move. Kinzel seemed to be enjoying himself as he thought deeply, while occasionally laughing and groaning. I have thought for 30 years. I have thought for 30 years about how to counter this move. Have fun with the move I have fermented for 30 years.
Indeed, this is a deeply matured move. What fun! What fun! I see I'm no match for you.
What is this? So you came, Butler. I've been waiting for a while. Be silent for Kinzel's sake. Isn't it too early to resign, Kinzel? I could have countered that move in several ways already. Should have been my first time meeting with that witch. However, I knew this witch. Even though it was our first meeting, I knew her from the portrait. Genji, serve some alcohol for Butler. What would be an appropriate liquor for this man?
That which the master has loved since the days of his youth.
Good, serve it. You did well coming here, Ushiramiya Butler. First, sit down. You called my name many times, did you not? In deference to that, I allowed you to meet me. So, what will you ask me? What will you inquire? The door of the Golden Land will soon be opened. Soon we will have a banquet to celebrate my revival, at which I will be welcoming in the witches. In the meantime, I'll answer your questions, as many as you like. I've got a bunch of things I want to ask. What happened on this island? And why did incidents like this occur? I want to ask about the closed rooms too. What about the culprit? What about the chapel? What about Jessica's room? And the servant room? And Anatsui's room? And the parlor? And there's so much more I want to ask. About the witch's true nature. Is Beatrice really a witch? What's your goal? What do you want to do? What do you want to make us do? And why did you call me here? Answer me about everything.
Ah, be quiet! You think you'll get answers if you ask?
Don't say that, Kinzel. A fragile and fleeting spiderweb did offer protection from King Herod's wands. Herod, just like there are no useless things in this world, there are also no useless questions. Very well, I'll answer all your questions. But only on one condition. What is it? If you hear everything and you are able to accept my existence, then you will kneel and kiss my shoes. I called you here because I wanted you to make you surrender to me. Kinzel and I made a bet. We bet on which would come first. Kinzel thinking of a new move, or me making you surrender. I don't think I'll lose. Damn, you talking so tough. Yeah, alright. Try and convince me. Try and convince me that you're a witch who came to use weird, awesome, powerful magic. If I surrender, I'll kiss you or do anything else. The witch cackled gloatingly. Then she glared at him unpleasantly with eyes that said a man can't go back on his word. Well said! From what question shall I begin? I'll answer everything. Come what will, the first one be. Don't end. Don't do it. Please. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. And the witch began to tell us everything. She started providing answers to all of Badler's questions. Everyone made logical sense. Everyone satisfied him, and Badler was forced to admit witches truly did exist. He's so washed. The rest is a story that need not be told. After toppling the king and resigning, all that remains is to reflect upon one's moves and set the pieces up once more. Second game, Turn of the Golden Witch. Result:
Failure.
Ushirimiya Kraus died on the first twilight, chosen by the king of the golden line and sacrifice. Ushirimiya Natsuhi died on the first twilight, Ushirimiya Eva, Ushirimiya Hideyoshi, Ushirimiya Rudolph, Ushirimiya Kairi. Died on the first Kairi, died on the first surprise. Ushirimiya Jessica died on the second twilight, back pierced by the stake of Asmodeus. Servant Kanon died on the second twilight, chest pierced by the stake of Satan. Lust and Wrath. Servant Shannon died on the fourth twilight, forehead gouged by the stake of Maimon. Greed, which doesn't make sense. Servant Goda died on the fifth twilight, gluttony, Ushina George, pride, Ushina Belfagor's sloth, Kumasawa, envy. The witch Beatrice revived in the ninth twilight. She will finally open the door to the Golden Land. Ushirimiya Kinso missed in the 10th twilight, except that the witch prostrated himself and was invited to the Golden Land. Ushirimiya Rosa missed in the 7th. She denied the existence of the witch and was not invited to the Golden Land. Maria accepted the witch for the Golden Land. Genji accepted the witch. Ushirimiya Butler, missing on the 10th twilight, will he accept the witch and be invited to the Golden Land. The witch shall praise the wise and grant fortresses in the Golden Land. There they choose to revive the souls of the dead and the love they possess, because they desire could not be gained from a mountain of gold, no matter how high. For Kinso he lost loved one. For Maria, the lost love of her mother. For Genji, a peaceful sleep. Rest in peace, Beatrice. May your slumber never be disturbed again. The winner is the Golden Witch Beatrice. Since of the 18th, none solved the riddle of the golden time. All 18 die. When the seagulls cried, none were left alive. My horse washed, but not me. Not me. I'm prepared. I'm prepared for episode 3. I have nothing but defenses for everything. Arm? No, I didn't mean to click that. It's still episode 2, not a tea party or nothing, so. Unless one of you goes to sleep, I'm a peek inside. Where are you, Beatrice? Show yourself! Beatrice! Rosa finally arrived at the chapel. She pointed her gun around her, screaming the witch's name, but there was... Gosh, please. Please. This is a mirror of Natsuhi's duel. Natsuhi was met with an answer because Natsuhi was worthy. Rosa's just gonna be left in the dark. Please. After grimacing slightly, she noisily approached the table where her sibling's corpses still lay exposed and stretched out her arm towards the gold ingot. It was very heavy, but Rosa didn't mind. She wrapped that one up in a blanket and threw it over her shoulder. At least, just this one. This alone should be worth over 10 million. Without letting go of her gun, Rosa picked up the gold as well. Her shoulders were screaming, but Rosa didn't mind.
It will happen very soon. Very soon, the door to the Golden Land will open.
Stop laughing with that creepy voice. Where is Beatrice? Yeah, I know she's around here somewhere, right? You know where, right? Where is she?
I don't know. Even if you don't search for her, you'll be able to see her in the Golden Land. Ow! Stop laughing like that! It almost makes me want to laugh! That's right, that was definitely a witch, definitely a witch! I didn't understand, I thought she was human calling herself a witch, but I was wrong! That really was a witch. I won't be fooled by something like that. You're there, right? Come out, show yourself! Beatrice! I told you she'll appear very soon. The door to the Golden Land will be open.
My gosh, how? I've been warned.
That's right. Isn't it splendid? I care not. I abandon that rook. You, woman, are a king that cannot be reached without the resolve to lose everything one has. How cold are you, Beatrice?
At least call me a queen. What a brilliant move. So your blood, no, the Ushuramiya blood is bad at giving up. How pleasant.
How pleasant! What a truly elegant night!
Master, Beatrice, it will soon be time for the banquet.
Already? That was that. Every night I pass with you goes by swiftly. The moon falls like an apple, and the sun leaps from the river like a small fish.
It is time, so let us go. Rise, butler. The banquet to celebrate my revival will now begin. I'll introduce you to my new furniture. No, as my new toy. To the dignitaries among witches.
The witch was relaxing elegantly, her feet thrown out from the sofa, resting on top of the footrest. However, the footrest wasn't part of the sofa, but a human. A human down on all fours. No CG?
Beatrice, your silk dress.
You are the guest of honor, but I am the host. I will go out first. It would have been nice if Shannon were here to help dress you, but unfortunately it seems she no longer remains. She's never around when I need to use her. An entirely useless person. However, she did well to remain here. I'm happy, my friend.
I am grateful for your words.
Good. Wait downstairs, you two. Genji, good work. Set the dress down over there.
Certainly. Well done, Master. Well done, Master.
We will go first. Beatrice, I will see you later.
Indeed.
Kinzo and Genji left the study. After that, the witch of the dress and the furniture remained.
Do you want to know why I'm not embarrassed to show myself to you naked? It's because you're furniture. Furniture. Understand? Furniture, just furniture. Who would feel shame at exposing their body to furniture? So there's no reason for me to feel shame in front of you.
The witch rose and her jacket slipped off just from her shoulders. After that, the jacket fell to the ground with a thump. When the furniture respectively approached to pick up those clothes, the witch gave it a small kick and it fell over. The furniture was afraid of what misconduct it might have shown.
Do you, as furniture, plan to force me to unbutton myself? Stand and undo the buttons, one by one, with care. Quickly now, gracefully, with no mistakes. The guests are being kept waiting, so change my clothes quickly now.
Yes.
Undo them with care. These buttons are each worth more than one of your eyeballs. If you make a mistake and break them, I'll show your eyeballs instead.
Unfathomably washed. To unprecedented degrees. The entrance hall was bustling with a crowd of shadowy people, and it sparkled gold with the gold butterflies flying about. The gentlemen in suits and tuxedos and the ladies in dresses looked like they were having a great number of friendly chats. At a glance, it might have looked like a fabulous medieval ball, but they all had one thing in common, and that thing was exceedingly bizarre, because all of them had goat heads. Was it a goat mask masquerade, or did they really have goat heads? It probably couldn't be the latter, but in this bizarre world, I really didn't know which was true. Kinso was amongst those goat nobles greeting them. Kinso's greetings were most respectful than would have been expected, as though these were all honored guests. At the time, Genji's voice rang out through the hall. It was a voice calling for silence. That voice stopped the idle chatter and everyone turned to face Genji.
Tonight, we celebrate the appearance of our golden witch who has achieved her revival, the Lady Beatrice. Everyone, please welcome her with your applause.
When Genji began to applaud, it quickly spread throughout the guests and became a roaring ovation. Then the golden witch appeared at the top of the large staircase. As she gracefully waved her hand, followed by a piece of furniture she was fond of, she slowly descended the stairs. The goat nobles offered an unanimous words of celebration in some long-forgotten language, and those two were deeply intimate embrace filled with joy at their reunion. As the witch offered greeting of reunion, the witch's furniture followed behind with her the whole time. There was a chain around his neck. The other end was gripped in the witch's hand like it was a trained dog. It wasn't there to restrain him. Those chains were a restraining device whose only purpose was to wound the furniture's dignity. He wasn't permitted to wear anything else on his body. One of the many young women goats mixed in with the ghost nobles quickly removed her goat mask as the furniture passed above her, and she spoke with eyes that had no light in them. Yes! Come on, give... Burn Castle. I gave up on Battler. He's washed. But you speak to me, the player. So, give him like some motivation again or something. That face seemed to belong to a long-haired young girl. Whoa! Awesome! Wow! That's really cool looking! She's so small! That's a really cool CG. That's my goat when I'm naked.
How beautiful.
Oh, Lady Berncastel. Welcome.
Do you like my furniture? That's a nice hobby.
After saying only that, the witch called Berncastel once again put on her goat mask and was swallowed up by the shadows of the other tall goats. No, even she gave up on me. Sore loser. She's ticked off, isn't she? You're not wrong. Please give me a chance. I didn't lose. Talk to me, the reader. Talk to me, not the washed goat over there. I didn't fail you. I had all the answers ready. I just couldn't use them. I wasn't given a chance. Please don't give up on me, Better Castel. Please. Address me. The young woman goats giggled and the witch once again let out a high-pitched laugh. Thank you for gathering here for my sake. Why don't we enjoy to the fullest this banquet of the witch where old friends have gathered from past and present, east and west, north and south. Come, we will eat all night, drink all night, slurp all night, and chew to bits all night as we enjoy ourselves. Look at the clock as it makes when the ending hour and the beginning hour meld together. Come, let us begin the banquet of the witch. When the witch announced the beginning of the banquet, the large clock pointed to 24 o'clock, and the sound of the bell began to ring out. Come, now is the time! Open the golden door! All at once, the butterflies leaped in gold, flew all around the inside of the room. Amidst the golden storm and the brilliant, cold, gold-colored light, the barrier between this world and another was cut open. Surrounded by the goat's delighted voices, the mansion of the human world and the mansion of those non-human overlapped. And the members of the household who praised the resurrection of the golden witch scattered into gold butterflies and poured out of the depths of hell. It was a golden tornado, a rondo of golden demons. Come tonight, we will put aside rank. Throw open the wine cellar, drop the snake's head into the liquor pot, throw cows and chickens into the furnace alive, drink and eat and sing and dance, sneer and kill and desecrate and degrade.
Ah, Beatrice, take me to the golden land now! To the golden land!
The goat nobles were suddenly crushing in around Kinso, almost like they were kids demanding the signature of some famous movie star. There were only two differences. First, these were witches, not kids. And second, what these witches demanded was not a signature. The sea of goats noble began to drown Kinso. Only Kinso's laughing voice echoed throughout the area. It was a grand mixture of laughter and his death throes, and Kinso became wine and meat and bread. An aroma if slurped and rich taste if gnawed, and pleasure to tear to bits. The sound of his death throes lingered on sweetly, and if adorned with melted chocolate and golden argent, it would make a wonderful dessert. If you took the bones home, you could also use them in a soup, and the remains could even become toys for the children to play with, and they could also become splendid tools for future telling that always brought misfortune. That entire scene was watched by the furniture. It was all so fantastical. It was all so demonic. Was the quaking of its supposedly paralyzed heart proof that it could still feel fear? At that time, its knees buckled and the furniture's body fell down in the middle of the carpet. After all, the witch had kicked those knees from behind. Kneel and show your respect. Rub your forehead against the carpet and show how vulgar you are. Put your hands behind your back and swear that you will offer all your flesh and blood to me. The furniture let out a painful voice. Fear is the most basic emotion humans have. Was that emotion reviving a sense of self which should already have been slain? So you are still far from suitable to be my furniture. Very well. I will carefully finish you, making you into the kind of furniture I like, the very kind fitting only for me. As you are now, I doubt you can offer more than entertainment for our guests. The goat nobles were surrounding this crouching furniture. It seemed their blazing blood-red eyes couldn't hide their ecstasy at this new young food they'd been given. And from the ugly teeth that stuck out of countless mouths, saliva, or maybe the traces of meat and wine that they had just eaten dribbled down. As the furniture let out a wild scream and retreated, still sitting on its backside. But the circle of goat nobles was closing in. Then the furniture looked at the witch's face. It had surrendered to the witch, so believing that the witch would show some compassion, it stared at her face in the end. But there was nothing but scorn on the witch's face, and she wasn't even facing the furniture anymore. The witch went off to greet an honored guest with whom she had crossed gazes. The goat nobles looked down upon the furniture. Actually, they had been waiting. Just like how one must remove the cork in order to drink champagne, they had to wait for one thing before partaking of the offering served at this banquet. Of course, the furniture didn't know about this thing, but it came out of its mouth all by itself, just like the unavoidable of a cork. It inevitably came out of its mouth. It was a scream. It was a sign that marked the beginning of the modest banquet at which she was so to be served. By now the garden was one of both roses and gold. A gold-colored garden where gold butterflies, gold fairies, and gold lizards rampaged and flew about wildly. Bro, they're still going.
Maria, quickly! Run! Quickly! 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 Quickly!
Rosa grabs her gun and the blanket around the gold ingot and ran at a speed Maria couldn't match, sometimes pausing to call out to Maria to run faster. Still, she saw it every time. She saw the golden pursuers chasing them from the mansion. The mass of gold butterflies was chasing after them like a massive crawling hand. And golds and strange-looking shadows with gold heads were chasing after them. There was no need for her to strain her eyes, because those blazing pupils told her what would happen if she was captured.
Mama, wait! Mama, wait! Oh.
Maria fell down. For just an instant, Rosa was ashamed by the thought of abandoning her daughter and running away, and at that instant her feet touched the ground. She ran back. The goat head had just sprinted over to get the first bite, grabbed hold of the back of Rosa's own child's hair and pulled.
Mama! No!
Rosa ran into the goat head and with her shoulders spun, bashed the back of her elbow into the goat's jaw and buried her knee deep into its protruding chest. And she thrust the barrel of the gun inside the goat's head, mouth, and it doubled over from the pain in its gut. Just try laying one finger on Maria in front of me. I'll show you just how lukewarm the hell you came from me. The blast from the Winchester 45 caliber long Colt bullet exploded inside the goat's head throat, and its medulla oblongata was instantly pulverized. The goat hadn't noticed. It had thought women were like pre-opened wine bottles. It had thought that turning them upside down would immediately make their deep red contents come out.
Mama!
Maria, who had been released, hugged Rosa. But the pursuers were still coming. They could see the giant goat heads who had given up pretending to be human running towards them from across the rose bushes. Rosa spilled several extra bullets which had been in the pocket of her coat all over the place and told Maria to pick them up.
Yes! Pick up!
Maria, if Mama falls down, run! Go to the shore and swim! There's nowhere for us to survive on this island.
No! I'll stay with Mama.
Rosa's gun roared 4 times. But even though 4 shots really did hit the massive approaching goats in the chest, they didn't even flinch. The goats ran with a violent vigor as though they planned to crush Rosa and Maria with those massive bodies.
Put the bullet in! Quickly!
Rosa grasped the blanket with the gold ingot in both hands, and she herself sprinted pulling along, without even an ounce of fear of those strange-looking giants. If it's to protect my daughter, I'll overcome even hell. I'll show you this golden dream! Rosa rolled. The goat heads roared. The terribly heavy ingot, after picking it up, the fearsome centrifugal force and speed slammed into the head of the goat head. Rosa pulled the fountain pen from her pocket, but she held it crooked. She placed it in her palm, in the gap between her middle finger and her ring finger, so that it stuck out when she made a fist, almost like a stinger was growing out of it. The stinger sliced into the left eye of the goat head as it fell over. Was the goat head sore or scream? But Rosa's roar was different. She pulled back her fist and slammed it into the fountain pen that was still sticking out of the goat's eye. The pointed tip was gouged into the depths of its head.
Mama, the bullet went in.
Good job! As I grabbed the gun Maria had thrown, I finally heard the thunderous crash of the giant tumbling to earth. However, at the same time, I saw the goat-head pursuers on the other side of the gross bushes increasing in number. I've gained enough distance for now. I held onto the blanket wrapped around the ingoting gun and once again ran with Maria. Why am I running with a gun in my right hand and the gold in my left? Why didn't I let go with one hand and grasp Maria's hand? I can't let go of the gun that protects my body. I can't let go of the gold that protects my future. But even so, I let go of the hand of my daughter, the one who is my future. Run, run, run! She got out to the rose garden and began to run down a staircase through a grove of trees. But Rosa knew this path, though the grove turned and twisted many times and only seemed to be long, she tore straight through it. She had played here often since her childhood years, so she knew. To the beach, to the beach, to the sea, to the sea, to the sea. And after reaching the sea, nothing to do but swim, swim, swim. And if Maria can swim, I'll carry her as I swim. There's nothing but death on this island.
Yeah! Mama!
As she reached down the stairs, she took a bad step. A violent pain ran up to her left ankle and her mind went completely blank. Rosa fell down several stairs, shocked by her ankle, which was bent at an odd angle, and the blanket with the ingot wasn't there. She had let go of it in the instant she fell, and it had disappeared somewhere into the darkness. Only the gun was left. Tremors in the earth were getting close. It was only a matter of time before the goat's heads floated in. She didn't want to imagine how many there would be, or how strange they would look. The lightly dancing gold pursuers arrived. The gold butterflies surrounded Rosa and Maria, waving and clamoring as though saying, "The prize is here, the prize is here!" Rosa cannot even try to get up. The violent pain from her broken ankle was so great that she couldn't ignore it in her last moments.
What am I doing? I had the gun, which would have been worth several million yen. I might have been able to start over with that. And yet I fell. I lost it, and now my own life is in danger, and Maria is still... What has my life been? I was born into an incomprehensible family, with irritating older siblings since the day I was born. What did I do? No matter what I do or didn't do, I was always in trouble and bullied and made fun of. What have my life become? Mama! Mama!
The roar inside Rosa's heart shriveled away and disappeared. It disappeared when she heard Maria's crying voice as she sobbed and clung to Rosa.
Maria, Mama remembered something that she's got to do. Please go on ahead. No! I want to stay with Mama. I don't want Mama to die. Maria, even though I'm such a bad mama, you still say you want to stay with me. Yeah, I want to stay with you. I want to stay with Mama. I made it look like I was putting you first, but I was always putting you off. I went to your athletic meet. I went to President's Day, but I was always thinking of how I appear to the world, and you were never in my eyes. Are you saying that you want to spend that you want to stay with that kind of mother? Even though I've been such a bad mother. Mama, but you know, you're my only mama in this world. There's no good mama or bad mama. There's just one mama. So I don't need any other mama in this world. And I want to be your one and only Maria. The Maria you want to smile when you're in a good mood. And the Maria who's in reasons when you don't want to be around. Are different people. There's only one Maria. So the scary mama and the nice mama are the same too. To me, they're my one and only mama. I was such an idiot. I didn't go. If only I had just put you by my hand. I was such a stupid mama.
The shadows of the goats covered the sky even more thoroughly than the trees of the forest. Oh crap! The roars blotted out the world with fear. Rosa, still hugging Maria, readied her gun with one hand.
Maria, let's go together. I'll never leave you. Let's always stay together so that Mama never gets lost again. Yeah! We'll be able to see each other soon. We'll be together forever. We'll be able to see each other in the Golden Land. And then we'll play together. Play with the wolves and their sheep puzzle. Nana hasn't solved more than one of the puzzles, but I've solved them all. So I'll be the riddle giver.
She had thought it all as a birthday present, and then hadn't played it with Maria after that first night. Yes, we'll play together. I promise.
Mama!
Those eyes sparkling like red-hot lava looked just like a group of fireflies. They danced closed in and attacked.
Come on! Let whoever wants to eat the bullet Maria clamored for me step forward!
Wow. Wow. There's so much. That was good. All of that. Every single one of the last scenes were amazing. Not a single bad one. The confrontation with Kinsa and Beatrice, the credits, the banquet, and Rosa. Rosa's such a weird character. It's like she just... It was very sad. It made me cry, of course, but it's just... It feels empty. It's like... Rosa's gonna be a hard character for me to like because it reminds me of personal things. The fact that she just has to keep learning the same lessons over and over. It's like every scene with her, she realizes, oh, I'm a bad mom, this time I'll be better, and she never is! So, it's funny to me that her very last moment, I'm going to consider just another lie from her. She wants to believe it herself, but if they were to survive that, and they return to a normal life, she would be the same person she's always been. And also, I just like the themes and the symbolism of, like I already said, Natsuhi being granted a proper face-to-face duel with Beatrice, because Beatrice truly respected her and saw her as a worthy, worthy successor. But then with Rosa, she just sent a bunch of minions after her. But it's also the way the women fought that is very good to me as well. Very interesting. Natsuhi fought in a way that was it was a fight about dignity, respect, rank, and title. They were having a proper, respectful, dignified duel about who is the head of the house. They were fighting over they were fighting over rank in a very like elegant manner. Like Natsu's last words to Beatrice were like, "Who's the real head of the house? The Golden Witch Beatrice or Natsuhi Ushirame?" Right? So that was cool. They were. It wasn't like a battle for self-preservation, a battle for protecting others. It was a battle over rights, over who gets to stand, lead, and continue on in the world. It's a very strong fight. It fills me with courage and determination when I think about it. Right? But with Rosam, it was just a pure fight of perseverance, of self-perseverance, of survival, of there's no ideologies. Rosa didn't have to fight any ideology with Beatrice. She didn't fight with Beatrice directly. She mentioned her like, where is she? I want to see her. But like, Rosa cannot speak to Beatrice in any deeper level than that. Rosa does not understand Beatrice. She does not see rank. She does not see title. She does not see dignity in anything about Beatrice. All she saw in those moments was self-perseverance, which is once again Ryokishi on the nose, Mr. on the nose. Her taking the golden ingot. That is the biggest sign of self-perseverance. She was, till the end, she was thinking about herself, about her future. It was a fight for herself. Her whole life has been selfish, and now the last battle with quote-unquote Beatrice was also a selfish battle. It was a battle just for her life. She had to be told that she had to protect Maria. It's just unbelievably interesting to me. That was very, very good. I love that. As for anything else, I don't know how Tea Party is gonna go. I don't know how episode 3 is gonna start. I don't know. What do you want, cat? Yeah, that's what I thought. If I had to put one gamble, because we gotta gamble, we have to take some risks. I think Barncastel is going to clutch up. I think Barncastel is going to lock in, and she's going to look past the Wash Battler and look at me, the person that's actually cool. She's gonna look at me, talk to me again, and I'll let her know. I'll let her know about my defenses, about that I have everything ready, prepared. Just give me one more chance, and we'll be good. I think that's how episode 3 is gonna start. But I think that is all I have. My voice tomorrow is going to be dead, that's for sure. That was extremely fun. Great comeback stream. I apologize for making you both sleep very late on a weekday. I hope you recover. And thank you for watching. That was very fun. I enjoyed this a lot. That was fun. And wow, I can't believe I actually finished 2 episodes. Very well. Next time, tea parties. Bye bye and good night. Farewell. Address me, please, Barncastel.